Okay, we had continued with human nutrition. Yes, we were discussing about carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, fiber, and water. Agree? Both macronutrients and micronutrients. Classification of carbohydrates also we've done. Monosaccharides, disaccharides, polysaccharides. Importance of carbohydrates also we have done. What is low glycemic diet? Did we discuss still here? Can you just remind me quickly? Protein, did we start protein? What is protein? What is amino acids? I don't think we started, right? We should start from protein. All right, so shall we start today with protein? Okay. So let us discuss about protein. So what do we understand by protein? So protein is nothing but the nutrient which our body needs to grow and repair cells, right? And work properly. So whenever we consume protein, what's the major target of protein? It's eventually to grow more, yes, or to repair. Today's scenario, you might have heard so much. Why do we need to eat protein? What is the importance of protein? Or why do we need protein on everyday basis? It is nothing but to repair from all the wear and tear what our body has gone through during workout or during any other physical activity, right? So if you see, protein is found in the variety range of food. Yes or no? In everyday basis, protein is generally found in variety of fruits, vegetables, right? Meat, all of this. So based upon again what our body requires with our weight, with our gender, again with our age and existing health, we will decide how much quantity does our body needs the protein. Agree? So proteins are nothing but made up of building blocks called amino acids. I hope you have heard about this amino acids. Yes, no? So basically, there are 20 different amino acids that link together in different combinations. Our body uses them to make new proteins, such as muscle and bone, and other compounds such as enzymes and hormones. It can also use them as an energy source. Some amino acids can be made by our body. So there are 11 of these, and they are known as non-essential amino acids. Okay. So out of 20, so there are 11 of this which our body can make, and they are known as non-essential amino acids. Just highlight this. And there are 9 amino acids that our body cannot make. They are known as essential amino acids. One is non-essential and another one is essential amino acids. So generally on everyday basis, we require both of them, both non-essential amino acids and our essential amino acids. Okay, now let us see what exactly does amino acids do, which is nothing but your protein. Agree? So what does the amino acids do? First breaks down our food. So whatever the food we are consuming on everyday basis, amino acids breaks down the food. So apart from this, what else does it do? It grows and repair the body tissues, right? It actually grows and repairs the body tissues with whatever wear and tear has happened, or you might have met with an accident. For all of that, protein is responsible, which is nothing but our amino acids are responsible to repair it, right? Next, make hormones and brain chemicals. Amino acids generally make hormones and brain chemicals. Okay. Apart from this, protein provides us energy. I've always keep saying this whenever we are not getting enough carbohydrates, we can get energy from protein. Remember? Yes? No? Now, maintain healthy skin, hair, and nails. Generally, protein helps to maintain proper healthy skin, hair, and nails as well. So you always keep saying, right, ma'am, I have very thin hair. There is too much of hair loss. I have very brittle nails. All of that you can be repaired by having protein. So next would be building muscles. How can you build muscle? You can see various bodybuilders or who are gym enthusiasts. They basically consume lots of protein, which eventually helps them to build their muscles. Next, apart from this, it also boosts our immune system. Okay, often you don't fall sick. You always feel, uh, say, active, happy. For all of that, protein is responsible for it. Now, sustain a normal digestive system. Suppose somebody is having too much of constipation, stomach pain, acidity. Then, whenever you are consuming good amount of protein, right? It should be healthy protein, not like too much of masalas, too much of spices, right? Or it is completely hot. Whenever we are consuming good amount of protein, it should be mild spice so that it enhances our digestive system. Okay, done. Can we move ahead? So there are 9 essential amino acids, okay, and their functions let us study. First one is histidine, which supports the central nervous system. The entire nervous system in our body is supported by this particular amino acid called histidine. Okay, and it assists in tissue repair, maintenance of pH level, and synthesize hemoglobin as well. Next is isoleucine. So this particular amino acid promotes muscle recovery, repairs, aids in blood clotting and wound healing, and it actually regulates the entire energy and blood sugar levels. Okay, so next is leucine, which enhances the muscle recovery and stamina and stimulates the growth hormone production, and it also releases of insulin, promotes growth and repair of bone tissue, and speeds wound healing. Okay, so next we have is lysine, which assists muscle tissue growth and repair, aids in synthesis of collagen and absorption of calcium, boosts the immune system, and helps ward off viruses. Okay. Next, we have this meiotin, which initiates the protein synthesis. So, generally, we need to synthesize or we need to process the entire protein what we are consuming, right? It has to break down. So, this particular amino acid, it enhances that entire process. And it actually detoxifies the body, and it helps to remove anything which has lead or mercury inside your body. And it also helps to uh, metabolize the liver to remove the fats. So, if any particular person has fatty liver or liver cirrhosis, so a good amount of protein really helps them to synthesize as well as to metabolize the fatty liver. Okay. And also it helps to get absorbed both selenium and zinc. So this is again foremost important minerals which is required for our body, right? So both that really help to synthesize. So next we have is phenylalanine, which acts as a precursor of tyrosine and plays a potential beneficial role in depression, vitiligo, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, attention deficit hyperactive disorders, and rheumatoid arthritis. So, any complex disorders, if somebody is facing in their life, in this scenario, or you have a client saying, Ma'am, I have very critical condition, then make sure you are giving them good amount of protein. Yes. Next is pyronine, which acts as a precursor of serine and glycine, helps from collagen and elastin, assists in preventing fat accumulation in the liver, helps build strong bones and tooth enamel, promotes wound healing, and helps to maintain the integrity of gastrointestinal mucosa. Okay. So next we have is tryptophan, which acts like a precursor of niacin as well as serotonin, which assist in promoting self-esteem, helps prevent heart diseases and osteoporosis, and aids in regulation of sleep, appetite, vasoconstriction, and vasodilation, memory, and learning. So basically, this particular amino acid, it really helps to boost the entire movement inside the body. Yes, even to calm down, even to promote healthy sleep, for memory enhancement, learning, all of that, it really contributes a lot. Okay, so next we have is valine, which helps to maintain the body's nitrogen balance, supports the human and central nervous system, as well as normal cognitive function. And this particularly aids in muscle metabolism, tissue repair, and blood sugar level control. So all of these 9 amino acids are really important for the functioning of the body. Okay, so if you see the example of food, what we can get from various plant-based amino acids. For example, histidine we can get from rice, wheat, legumes, potatoes, cantaloupe, that is your muskmelon, right? Thyrionine, which we can get it from watergrass, springula, and the pumpkin, green leafy vegetables. All of that we can really get from various pulses, sweet potatoes, sesame seeds, almonds. What else? We have pumpkin seeds, cabbage, beans, right? Quinoa. So if you see, all of these beans also contains good amount of amino acids, but we always focus majorly on consuming meat, right, or even eggs. For vegetarian, this could be the perfect example. Agree? Okay, so next would be the nutritional value of a protein. So what else is required as a nutritional value, right? Which can be measured in terms of essential amino acid it contains. So different food again contains different amount of essential amino acids. So in basically, if you see animal products as chicken, beef, or even have really large amount of high quality essential amino acids which our body cannot make, right? So next is our soya products, or you can say quinoa and the seed of leafy green called amaranth is all consumed in Asia and Mediterranean. This also have large amounts of all essential amino acids. Other plant proteins, beans, lentils, nuts, and whole grains contain all the essential amino acids, but the amount of one or two of these amino acids may be low. Next is protein foods. Some food sources of dairy protein include lean meats like beef, lamb, veal, pork, kangaroo, pork, poultry, also your chicken, fish, and seafood, your dairy products, your eggs, cheese, all of this contains good amount of protein. Nuts and seeds, almonds, pine nuts, walnuts, macadamia, hazelnuts, cashew, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, all of them contain the good amount of protein in that. Now, legumes and beans, all the beans, lentils, chickpeas, what else we have? Split peas, tofu, all of them actually contain good amount of protein. Now, what happens if somebody has protein deficiency? So, what basically happens when somebody has protein deficiency? You have any idea? Yes, no? No? So, basically, protein deficiency means not getting enough protein in your diet, right? So, if you see for a longer period of time, this happens when they are very strictly vegetarian or even vegan diet. So, if you see symptoms of protein deficiency include wasting and shrinkage of muscle tissue, right? Wasting and shrinkage of muscle tissue or fluid retention. If you see there is too much of fluid at the ankles, at the feet, it is nothing but build up. This completely build up of water, build up of fluid. When you see somebody is completely bloated or doesn't have a toned, slim muscles, that is nothing but sign of deficiency of protein. Okay. So next would be anemia. Anemia, which is nothing but the blood's inability to deliver sufficient oxygen to the cells. If somebody is having deficiency of anemia, usually caused by dairy deficiency such as lack of iron, or it could be slow growth in children, right? Are you following till here? Yes. Is everybody there? Okay, next, let us discuss about fats and oils. Right? Fats are basically called as fatty acids or lipids. Agree? So fats in our body are made up of three molecules joined together. So fats are basically made up of three molecules joined together. So these three molecule structure is called as triglyceride. Okay. So most of the fat which we need in our is made by our bodies, but there are some fats which our body cannot make. So most of the fat which our body needs is made by our body, but some of the fats cannot be made. So such kind of fats can only be eaten. Okay. So these fats are called essential fats, which is we are getting it from the food. Now, essential fats include omega-3 fats found in foods such as fish and flax seeds. So omega-3 fats, which is basically found in fish and flax seeds, and omega-6 fats, which is found in nuts, seeds, and corn oil. Okay, so omega-3 basically found from fish and flax seeds, omega-6 found in nuts, seeds, and corn oil. Clear? So now let us discuss about what is triglyceride. So triglycerides are a type of fat made by our body. So they are called as storage fat. So basically triglycerides are nothing but the fats which is made up by our body and they are called as storage fat. When we eat more calories than our body needs, the body converts these extra calories into triglycerides. So always remember when our body eats or body consumes more calories than it can actually burn, those extra stored calories can be called as triglycerides. Now, high triglyceride levels can raise the risk of heart disease and increase your risk of heart attack. Okay, so whenever we see high triglyceride levels can raise the risk of heart disease and increase your risk of heart attack. Now, ways to reduce triglyceride levels. Whenever our body is stored too much of calories and we are not able to burn those, it is stored as triglycerides. Now, how can we reduce this? Yes, how can we reverse the triglyceride levels from our body? First thing is reduce your intake of sugars, sweets, refined, processed carbohydrates, all of them. Next would be reduce alcohol intake. Next, drastically reduce if person is consuming alcohol, it has to be reduced. Now eat foods containing omega-3 fats like fish more often. Now aim to eat fatty fish 2 to 3 times a week. Decrease saturated and trans fat. We have already discussed, right, what is saturated and trans fat, which is completely unhealthy, which is made from your refined oil, deep fried oil, or dalda, or palm oil. All of that comes under saturated and trans fats. Clear? Now, basically, there are three main types of fat in our foods, what we eat. Okay, unsaturated fats coming from the plant-based foods, which is from your nuts, seeds, all of them. Next is saturated fats coming from animal foods. Okay. Next is trans fats, which is commercially prepared and processed foods. So trans fats, which is majorly prepared in our manufacturing factories, right? Which is again formed in the packaged material, right? Your chips, your cookies, your fry arms, your chips, all of that comes under trans fats. Next, what is unsaturated fats? Basically, unsaturated fats are the fats which is found in our plant-based foods and oils. These are healthy, but again, keeping in mind, you should have it in the moderation levels. Okay. So next, there are two types of unsaturated fats. Excuse me. First one is monounsaturated fats. Second one is polyunsaturated fats. Under unsaturated fats itself, we have two types, which is monounsaturated fats and polyunsaturated fats. Now, monounsaturated fats and oils which lower the levels of LDL, which is your lousy cholesterol in our body, which is bad cholesterol. Always remember, LDL is a bad cholesterol and HDL is healthy and good cholesterol levels in our body. So monounsaturated fats, which actually lowers levels of bad cholesterol levels in our body and increases good cholesterol levels in our body. So next, what other we have, for example, or under this? Food sources include olive oil, olives, canola oil, peanuts, peanut oil, natural peanut butter, avocado, almonds, and cashew. Okay. So next we have is polyunsaturated fats and oils, which is lower levels of LDL, cholesterol in our body, omega-3 fats, increased levels of HDL and lower levels of triglycerides. Okay, so basically even the polyunsaturated fats and oils lowers the levels of lousy, which is your bad cholesterol level in our body. What are the other food sources which are walnut, ground flax seeds oil, hemp seed, and hemp hearts. This majorly it's not available in India, but if you find anywhere, it's like a very tiny seed, but it's very highly rich in protein. Okay, so next we have is chia seeds, which is easily available. Canola oil, this is also available. Excuse me. So next we have is saturated fats. Now under saturated fats, which eventually clearly increases the levels of bad cholesterol level in our body. Saturated fats are found in animal products, are also found in tropical oils such as cocoa butter, palm oil, coconut, and coconut oil. Next is palm kernel oils. Okay. So all this are majorly containing your saturated fats. And even the animal fats. Okay, next we have is trans fats. Now they are produced when a healthy fat such as soya bean or olive oil goes through a chemical process called partial hydrogenation. So you might be knowing about this, right? So any oil which is completely going in the pressure of atoms or extra pressure, it is known as entire chemical process is known as partial hydrogenation or even hydrogenation. This basically means what happens is they add extra hydrogen atoms to the oil, which will eventually turn the liquid into solid. So whenever in this process, it is nothing but converting the liquid into solid. Okay. So next, manufacturers hydrogenate oils because it prevents the oil from separating from other ingredients in the product. The perfect example would be mayonnaise. Have you seen mayonnaise? Yes, have you seen mayonnaise? So that is the perfect example of mayonnaise. Whenever a mayonnaise is prepared, can you see oil separating from it? No, right? Everything is completely a thick paste, solid paste. Another example would be a ketchup as well. Ketchup is also a manufacturing product, right? It is made in a factory. Mayonnaise is also made in a factory with extra additives and preservatives. Now, how to differentiate it? If you differentiate, let us take one example. Natural and regular peanut butter we get in the market. So if you see natural peanut butter, what happens? It is separated. Okay, all the nuts, all the paste of the groundnuts is settled down and oil is getting separated. The fat is above it, right? Now, in the regular peanut butter, what happens? If you see the entire bottle is completely solid. The entire bottle, it is completely solid, right? Have you seen this? Anybody tried to differentiate between natural and regular peanut butter? Now, whenever you are going for next grocery shopping, okay, try to see the labels, what they have included. Any packaged chips or oils or mayonnaise, ketchup, all of them, if you see, they have added or they have gone into hydrogenation process. Now, foods with trans fats include store-bought crackers, cookies, chips, pastries, cakes, donuts. I don't have to say this again and again, but all of them are nothing but trans fats example. Next is ways to avoid trans fats. What are the ways to avoid the trans fats? Replace commercially prepared processed foods with healthy choices, right? Always try to replace or have a substitute from commercial prepared food to homemade fresh foods. It could be your raw veggies, uncooked meal, your semi-boiled cooked food, right? Or something which is completely low in calories. All of them can be substituted from it. Okay. Now, next, why is fat important? Why do you think fat is important for you? Okay. So, getting enough fat in our diet is important for staying healthy. Eating only very, very low levels of fat is not recommended at all. So, getting enough fat in our body on everyday basis is really important. Okay. So, getting enough fat is eventually important to stay healthy. Now, eating only very, very low levels of fat is not recommended at all. We need fat because fat helps absorb vitamins like A, D, E, and K. Fat keeps our skin healthy. Essential fats like omega-3 are important for heart health, right? Agree? So, fat, which basically is required or it helps to absorb vitamins like A, D, E, and K. The fat keeps our skin healthy. So essential fats like omega-3 are important for heart health. So healthy fats like unsaturated fats, which coming from plant-based foods, which majorly helps to lower the bad cholesterol inside our body, right? The fat adds flavor to food. Fat really add flavors to food. If you see all our ladies, all our mothers, they always say Okay, I'll add extra oil to make it more tasty. Do they? Yes, right? They always keep saying the same thing. A fat keeps you feeling satisfied longer after a meal. Always, if you see something when you have good amount of healthy fats, it always make you feel satisfied. Yes or no? How much fat do our body need, basically? Yes, how much fat does our body needs depends upon the gender, age, activity levels, right? If you see somewhere, if a person is consuming around 1800 to 2000 calories for men, yes, this example is for men, then the daily recommendation of total fat intake would be 60 to 65 grams. Okay. Now, if we recommend maximum daily saturated fat intake, which actually comes up to 14 to 15 grams. Yes, agree? Next, for women, for daily calories, if we see, it is coming up to 1500 to 1700 calories, right? And if you generally see, the daily recommendation of total fat intake would be 50 to 56 grams for women. Next, when we recommend for maximum daily saturated fat intake would be 15 grams, which is your unhealthy fat. If you're seeing somewhere, we can just recommend it could be your 11 grams to 13 grams. But don't consume it on everyday basis. Okay, now next let us discuss about cholesterol levels inside our body. So what is cholesterol? So cholesterol is nothing but a wax-like substance found in our body. So there are basically two types of cholesterol. One is HDL, second one is HDL. Sorry, first one is LDL, second one is HDL. So LDL stands for low density lipoprotein cholesterols in our body, which is also known as lousy. That means it is not healthy for us. Okay. Now LDL basically picks up the cholesterol in our body, in our blood, and deposits into the endothelium, which is your inner wall of the artery in our heart. Basically, what happens? Bad cholesterol levels picks up the cholesterol in our blood and deposit it into the inner wall of our artery, which is not healthy at all. So that's why it leads to plaque buildup in our artery. Okay. The second one is which is your HDL cholesterol in our body. What does this do is it carries everything to it liver to be recycled. So LDL cholesterol carries LDL cholesterol away from the blood and it carries to the liver to be recycled. So HDL is completely reverse of LDL. Okay, so it takes away all the blood and it carries to the liver to be recycled. By doing this, LDL cholesterol keeps the endothelium inner wall of the arteries healthy because it is taking all the cholesterol away from the blood and it is taking to liver to be recycled, reprocessed, and then it takes to the other parts of body to be used. Okay. So now our body needs cholesterol to make vitamin D, right? Which helps our body to absorb calcium and promote bone growth. So basically, our bodies need cholesterol, which is your healthy cholesterol, to make good amount of vitamin D. And this also helps our body to absorb calcium and promote bone growth. Okay. And this also helps to make hormones like testosterone and estrogen for normal growth and reproduction. Now, to keep cell membranes healthy, cell membranes are nothing but the thin outer layer surrounding the cell that controls what goes in and out of the cell. Okay. Now, eating foods high in saturated and trans fats leads to more LDL cholesterol in the body. Now, LDL cholesterol slowly builds up all the walls of the arteries over time, right? And this can lead to plaque buildup that can make our arteries narrower. Yes, which is not healthy at all. So, whenever there is too much of plaque inside our arteries, what happens? Is there any scope for anything else to move along there? For example, moving the blood? No, right? Gets really difficult because the plague has taken over all the space. So it is possible for the arteries to become so narrow that the blood cannot flow through them. So eventually we know if the blood is not able to flow through them, what happens? The high risk of heart attack arises, or even the heart stroke arises. Yes, clot would also arise. Agree? Clear with this? The fats and oils and the proteins. Next is dietary fiber. So what is basically the dietary fiber? Anybody can tell me? Yes. So what is a dietary fiber? So fiber is made up of indigestible parts or compounds of plants which pass relatively unchanged through our stomach and intestine. So basically fiber is nothing but which is made up of indigestible parts or compounds of plants which pass relatively unchanged through our stomach and intestine. Fiber is mainly a carbohydrate. So fiber is mainly a carbohydrate. The main role of fibers is to keep the digestive system healthy. If you see, the main role of fiber or fiber-rich foods is to keep our digestive system healthy. Now, dietary fiber is found in whole grain cereals and fruits and vegetables. Okay. So other terms for dietary fiber include bulk and roughage, which can be misleading since some forms of fiber are water soluble and aren't bulky or rough at all. Now, types of dietary fiber. Anybody knows the types of dietary fiber here? There are basically two types of dietary fiber. One is soluble dietary fiber and second one is insoluble dietary fiber. Now, both are beneficial and we need them to include them in our daily diets. Okay. So most plant-based foods are mixture of both soluble as well as insoluble. So basically let us see what is soluble fiber. So soluble fiber soaks up water like a sponge and actually helps to bulk out our poop, right? Soluble fiber, if you see, it actually soaks up all the water like a sponge and actually helps to bulk out our poop. So it can pass through the gut more easily. It acts to slow down the rate of digestion. So one of its major roles is to lower LDL, which is your bad cholesterol levels, and it can also help with constipation. So anybody who is suffering from constipation, not able to clear their bowels on time, has to consume soluble fiber. Okay. Now, what are the good sources of soluble fiber? It could be fruits and vegetables, it could be oats, it could be barley, it could be seed husk, flax seeds, and psyllium. Next could be legumes, which is your dried beans, lentils, and peas. Next would be your soya milk and soya products, right? So, what is majorly an insoluble fiber? This slowing down effect of the digestive system is usually overridden by insoluble fiber. Okay, so whenever there is slowing down effect of the digestive system is usually overridden by insoluble fiber. That means if there is any mishappening in our digestive system, just in case, actually insoluble fiber can really help to reverse it or make it healthy. So it does not absorb water and speeds up the time that food passes through the gut. A major role of insoluble fiber is to add bulk to feces and is to prevent constipation and other associated problems. Now, good sources of insoluble fiber include bran, wheat bran, corn bran, and rice bran. The skins of fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, dried beans, and whole grain foods. Okay, now what are the health benefits of a dietary fiber? The digestive system, it is lined with the muscle that massages food along the digestive system, right? It is nothing but called as peristalsis, a movement which full of mouthful is followed until the eventual waste is passed out of the bowel. It is nothing but a movement like a wave, which is created by the muscles of our digestive system. Okay. Now, as dietary fiber is relatively indigestible, it adds bulk to our faces and keeps the digestive system healthy. Now, if you see, it also important for other body functions such as lowering blood cholesterol, keeping our weight under control, stabilizing glucose, which is important if we have diabetes, right? Now, reducing our risk of other conditions such as heart diseases and some cancers. Okay. Now, what is the lack of dietary fiber leads to? If there is too much of, say, undernutrition of fiber, or you're not eating good amount of fiber, it leads to constipation, it leads to hemorrhoids, it leads to diverticulosis, it leads to irritable bowel syndrome, it leads to overweight and obesity. Yes, and it leads to any form of heart disease as well as diabetes, bowel cancer, and breast cancer. Next, if we see how it is related, the dietary fiber and the weight control, how can we relate and how can we can achieve that target? A high fiber diet is protective against weight gain. High fiber foods tends to have a lower energy density, which means they provide few calories. As a result, a person on a high fiber diet can consume the same amount of food but with few calories. Now, foods high in fiber are often bulky and therefore filling. So, if you see, whenever you're consuming good amount of fiber rich foods, they are always bulky, right? And they're always filling. It could be your rice, it could be your sweet potato, yes, it could be your yam, it could be your corn. What else do we have? Okay, now also the advantages of fiber, if you see, it also absorbs and delays the absorption of sugars from our intestine. This helps to maintain the lower blood sugar levels and it also prevents a rapid rise in blood insulin levels. Now, dietary fiber and diabetes, if you see, any person if he has diabetes, eating a high diet can actually slow down, uh, diet high in fiber, which actually slow downs the glucose absorption from the small intestine into our blood. So if you see whenever we have diabetes or person who has a diabetes, always recommend them to eat good amount of fiber rich food. Now this eventually reduces the possibility of surge of insulin, right? Next would be dietary fiber with cancer or even heart disease. Increases dietary fiber, whole grain, right? It eventually reduces our obesity, weight gain, and even lowers the blood pressure levels. To dietary fiber and blood sugar levels, or even blood cholesterol. If you have high cholesterol, it can also be reduced with eating good, healthy fiber food. Okay. Now, fiber and bowel cancer, if you see simultaneously, if anybody is having a bowel cancer or anybody who has too much of IBS, GERD, or any digestive system, it can be reduced if somebody is consuming too much of fiber rich foods. Okay. And fiber can also will help with breast cancer and also aging. Perfect example if they want to reduce your aging and you want to look young. So include more of fiber. So whenever we recommend daily fiber intake of adults, okay, for men it is almost 30 grams, for women it is almost 25 grams per day. And for children, if you see 4 to 8 years, it is up to 18 grams. Girls 9 to 13 years, it is 20 grams. Boys 9 to 13 years is 24 grams, and boys 14 to 18 years is 28 grams. The entire table, if you see there, you have a little bit of rough ideas about how much uh, gram of fiber does each food contains. So 1 cup of brown rice is somewhere 2.7 grams. And 2 pieces of fruit such as apple and pear gives you 4.9 grams of fiber. Too much of fiber is coming from mixed vegetables, right? Mm. What is the advantage of dietary fiber? Which is stroke, heart. It also helps to reduce any colon cancer, irritable bowel syndrome, diverticular disease, hemorrhoids, blood sugar control, weight control, heart, and stroke. Okay, so let's continue further. So, do you need a break? Are you guys there? Okay, shall we take a break of 5-10 minutes? By 1:10, shall we continue? Is everyone back? Others? Okay, are you able to see the screen now? Now let us discuss about water. This is again almost important for everybody, right? Water is a combination of hydrogen and oxygen. It is the basis of fluids in our body. Agree? So it's the basic fluids what our body can sustain. And the human body can last weeks without food. So human body can actually last weeks without food, but only days without water. And the body is made up of 50 to 75 percentage of water. So water forms the basis of blood, right? So we need fresh water, that's why. And also along with blood, digestive juices, urine, perspiration, and it also helps to get a good lean muscle, fat, and bones as well. So water is really important for you to consume. So you want to have weight loss, fat loss, lean muscle, good, healthy, hydrated body. So water is really required for it. Okay. Now, as the body cannot store water, we need fresh supplies every day to make up for the losses from the lungs, skin, urine, and the feces. So obviously, body cannot store water, can it? No, right? It definitely cannot store the water. So that's the reason we always need water. Okay. And the amount we need depends upon our size, metabolism, activity, whether the food what we consume. Now, water in our bodies, right? Water in our bodies. Some facts about our internal water supply include body water content is higher in men than in women and falls in both with age. So, water requirement or water content is higher in men in general than in women. So, most mature adults lose about 2.5 to 3 liters of water per day. Okay, so water loss may increase in hot weather with prolonged exercises. So, elderly people lose about 2 liters per day, and traveler, if you are moving in flight, so approximately 1.5 liters of water you can lose during a 3 hours flight. Okay, so water loss needs to be replaced. So, water loss, whenever you are um, going through because of various reasons, right? Deficiency of water. Uh, so that has to be replaced early. So importance of water, we all know we require it to maintain the health and integrity of our every cell, keep the bloodstream liquid enough to flow through blood vessels, help eliminate the byproducts of body's metabolism, excess electrolytes, regulates body temperature through sweating, moisten the mucous membranes, lubricates and cushion the joints, reduce the risk of urinary tract infections, aids in digestion, prevents in constipation, moisture the skin to maintain its texture and appearance, carry nutrients and oxygen to cells, serve as shock absorber inside the eyes, spinal cord, and in the amniotic sac surrounding the fetus in pregnancy. Right? For all such reason, we need water. Now, what is the recommendation of dietary fluid intake? All depends upon the age, gender, active, pregnancy, breastfeeding, weather, lifestyle. Okay, for infants, about 6 months, 0 to 6 months, we need minimum 0.7 liters. Okay, so for infants about 7 to 12 months, we need roughly around 0.8 liters. And for girls and boys from 1 to 3 years, we need 1 liter, about 4 cups. Girls and boys 4 to 8 years, we need 1.2 liters almost. Now, boys 9 to 13 years, we need 1.6 liters. Now, dehydration and water. So, dehydration occurs when the water content of our body is too low. So, dehydration basically happens when our body water content is completely low. Right now, the symptoms of dehydration includes thirst, headaches, lethargy, mood swings, dry nasal passes, dry or cracked lips, dark colored urine, weakness, tiredness, all of this. Okay. Now, tips to drink water. Sit down. Always sit down and drink water rather than standing. Right. We have always discussed this. Avoid drinking all the water at once. Do not gulp. Sip slowly. Right. Sip slowly before and after. Drink room temperature water. Warm is even better. Lukewarm is the best for you to actually consume. Okay. Now, next is drink only when you are thirsty. Drink water only when you are thirsty, not always drinking water. Or drink water first thing in the morning, always on the empty stomach. It is the best for you to consume, right? Now, drink water stored in silver and copper vessels. Always drink water stored in silver and copper vessels. Okay, now let us discuss about micronutrients. First one is vitamins. So, what is vitamin? So, basically, what is vitamin? Vitamins are nothing but organic substances present in minute amounts in natural foodstuffs, right? So, vitamin is nothing but an organic compound, which means that it contains carbon, which is majorly essential for our body. Now, there are currently 13 recognized vitamins, both fat soluble and water soluble vitamins. So, water vitamins are either soluble or dissolvable in fat or water. We describe both types below, right? So, fat soluble vitamins, vitamins A, D, E, and K are fat soluble, whereas the body stores fat soluble vitamins in fatty tissue and the liver, and reserves of these vitamins can stay in the body for days and sometimes months. Now, dietary fats helps the body absorb fat-soluble vitamins through the intestinal tract. Okay, and they do not dissolve in water. So, fat-soluble, always remember, they do not dissolve in water. Okay, so vitamin A, let us discuss about vitamin A, which is again fat-soluble water. So, vitamin A helps to maintain a healthy vision, right? Without vitamin A, a person could experience too much of vision loss, memory problems, as well as eye vision problems as well. The types of this again we have is vitamin A is not a single vitamin but a collection of compounds called as retinoids. Have you heard about retinoids? It could be in the form of syrup, it could be in the form of tablet, capsule, right? So retinoids occur naturally in the human body and they are present in some dietary sources. The major function of vitamin A is to support several functions throughout the body, including the vision, the immune system as well. The dietary sources of this could be vitamin A, which is beta carotene, which is a powerful antioxidant. The body can convert this into vitamin A. The sources of vitamin A include fish liver oil, beef liver, cheese, milk, and other dairy products. The sources of beta carotene include sweet potato, kale, spinach, green leafy, muskmelon, black-eyed peas, cereals, all of those. Now, the deficiency who follow a plant-based diet, right, who has cyst fibrosis, when they have a long term of deficiency can lead to loss of night vision. Have you heard about this? People, they don't have good vision during night times, right? It's a complete total loss of vision by the time it is sunset or in the darkness. Okay. Now, the overdose symptoms of an overdose include headache, fatigue, nausea, dizziness. In several cases, coma and death can result. Now, vitamin D, people obtain vitamin D from natural sunlight, yes, or in the diet through certain fortified foods or even the supplements. Okay, now majorly the body obtains the compounds it needs to make vitamin D from food. So, vitamin D, which is majorly connecting when we are coming in contact with the skin or the sun, right? Now, there are two types of vitamin which is naturally occurring. Okay, vitamin D3 is found in animal fats, and vitamin D2 is found in plants such as mushrooms. Okay, so the major function of vitamin D has to maintain the bone health, it's to support the human function, right? And the entire deficiency would be the main effects of vitamin D deficiency would be osteoporosis or the loss of bone mass, osteomalacia, which means soft bones, right? Rickets, when a child bones do not develop as they should. Increased risk of infection and autoimmunity. When there is too much of vitamin D, it leads to nausea, it leads to headache, it leads to low appetite and weight loss. When there is too much of buildup of calcium in the tissues and blood vessels, right? And there is too much of heart or kidney damage, and sometimes high blood pressure levels also. Okay. Now, what is vitamin E? So, vitamin E is also once again fat soluble vitamin, which is also an antioxidant that helps our body to destroy the free radicals. Any free radicals you have which has to be destroyed, vitamin E can be used. Okay, if you feel your body is going through too much of oxidation, because as and when we are growing older, we are coming in contact too much of oxidation. So vitamin E is the best for it. The oxidative stress can lead to cell damage, and this can result in cancer and other diseases. So vitamin E may help protect the body from a range of health issues. Okay, now the function would be some reasons why the body needs vitamin E are as an active antioxidant to boost the immune system, to dilate the blood vessels and help prevent the clotting. Okay, and the dietary sources would be good sources of vitamin E include wheat germ oil, sunflower seeds and oil, almonds, hazelnut and peanut, spinach and broccoli. Okay, and kiwi fruit and mango. So this is the recommended intake. You can go through it. Now, what happens if somebody is having vitamin E deficiency? Okay, which is generally rare. But if it is having, then people get affected from Crohn's disease, or it is also known as cystic fibrosis. Now, in this condition, what happens is it affects the liver's capacity to absorb vitamin E. Okay, when the deficiency, which can result in nerve and muscle damage, and that can affect the movement and coordination. It also leads to vision problems. It also weakens the immune system as well. Right? So next, let us see what is vitamin K doing here. So vitamin K helps the body form blood clots. Blood clotting is essential to prevent excessive bleeding. So types, there are two most common groups are vitamin K1 present in green leafy vegetables and some other plant sources, and vitamin K2 present in animal sources and fermented foods. So K1 majorly in animal. So K2, sorry, plant-based K1. So K2 is majorly in animal foods and fermented foods. Okay, so vitamin K is really important because it helps our body to form blood clots and also to prevent from excessive bleeding. So if you have wounds or you're a athletic person or you're gym enthusiastic, so you need more of vitamin K. Now, function apart from blood clotting, it helps to lower the risk of heart disease, enhances the bone health, reduces the buildup of calcium in the blood. Now, what is the next dietary sources? The food sources of vitamin K1, K2 include kale, liver, spinach, parsley, butter, and egg yolks. Okay, so this is the recommended intake for both male and female. So, what happens when there is a deficiency of vitamin K? It leads to excessive bleeding. It leads to lower bone density in the very long term. So next, water-soluble vitamins. So water-soluble vitamins are the vitamins which do not stay in body for a long and cannot be stored. We always keep saying this. Along with water, all the vitamins will get flushed away. Yes, it will get out of the system through urine. So there is a need of you giving the regular supply of water-soluble vitamins to our body. Vitamin C plus the entire group of vitamin B complex are water-soluble vitamins. Okay. So vitamin B1, which is also thiamine, which helps to have a healthy growth and function of organs, including the brain and the heart. So vitamin B2, which is riboflavin, the body needs vitamin B2 to break down the fats and drugs. Okay, and vitamin B3, which is niacin. The body needs niacin to maintain healthy skin, nerves, and digestion. Vitamin B5, which is pantothenic acid, which is essential for the health of brain and the entire nervous system. Next, we have is vitamin B6, which is pyridoxine, which helps our body to generate new red blood cells, which carries oxygen throughout the body, and it also helps to keep the immune system strong. Okay. Next is vitamin B7, which is your biotin. So biotin is essential for healthy hair, nails, and nervous system. Vitamin B9, which is your folic acid, is really necessary for a person who is planning to conceive during pregnancy. Yes. Vitamin B12, which is cobalamin. The body's nerve and blood cells require vitamin B12. So this is the entire range of vitamin B complex and how much quantity is needed for males, females, pregnancy, and during breastfeeding. So you can go through it. Okay, these are some of the importance of vitamins which you can check once you are free. Okay, shall we discuss minerals now? Another 10 minutes and we'll wind off. Okay, minerals, we all know it is also important for our body. Yes, minerals are nothing but inorganic substances that required by our human body to function correctly. Agree? Okay, now the human body requires varying amounts of minerals. It keeps on changing as per our growth and development. Okay, now if there is any nutritional deficiency, it might leads to goiter, it might leads to osteoporosis, it might also leads to anemia and diarrhea as well. So that's why fulfilling the requirement of minerals are equally important. Okay, now let us see the types of minerals in the food. There are macro minerals as well as micro minerals as well. Under macro minerals, we need in large dosages. Okay, so we have sodium, calcium, chloride, magnesium, and potassium. All these comes under macro minerals or major minerals as well. As well. Okay. Now, this all the minerals leads to increase the metabolism of the body. Okay. Now, it is also known as it fulfills the deficiency. For example, calcium deficiency weakens the skeletal system. So, microminerals, also called as trace minerals, they are also known as minor minerals. Okay. So, macro is major, micro is minor. So this includes iron, copper, iodine, zinc, manganese, fluoride, cobalt, and selenium. All of them comes under minor. So functions of minerals in food. Calcium helps in blood clotting, helps muscle contraction and nerve function, essential for building strong and healthy bones. Chloride maintains proper blood volume, blood pressure, and pH of our body fluids. Copper, again, it helps to form formation of blood cells, RBCs, and it also helps with functioning of nervous system. Iodine, which is very much essential for your thyroid, also helps to function your brain, also promotes with normal growth and development of the cells. Iron, it helps in transporting oxygen to all parts of body, produces and stores the energy for further metabolism. Magnesium, it provides structure for healthy bones, energy from food molecules, maintains proper functioning of muscle and nervous system. Again, manganese we have which helps to maintain water balance, controls nerve impulse transmission. Sodium maintains a cellular ostomatic pressure. If there is anything which needs to be repaired at the cellular level, sodium is equally important. It also gives us energy. Apart from this, it also helps to maintain the blood volume and blood pressure and also the fluid balance in the entire body. So any person who's always dehydrated, always dry, or always into extreme sports need to have good amount of sodium so that they can balance their fluid inside the body. Okay. So next we have is sulfur. Sulfur is nothing but which helps to synthesize the protein. It also protects the cells from damage. It also helps in promoting the loosening and shedding of skin. Phosphorus, which helps the body store and use energy, works with calcium in the formation of strong, healthy bones and teeth. Potassium, which also controls the nerve impulses and muscle contractions, which helps in maintaining fluid balance in the body. Potassium also maintains proper functioning of muscle and nervous system. Zinc, which aids in wound healing, supports the immune system, which helps in the formation of strong bones, controls the functioning of sense organs in the nervous system, and it is important and essential process of cell division and reproduction. Okay, now if we see the major sources of minerals for calcium, we have is almonds, carrots, milk, broccoli, canned fish, papaya, garlic, and cashew. For chloride, we have salt, sauce, liver, unprocessed meat, milk, and peanut. For copper, we have crab, majorly seafoods and nuts and grains. For iodine, we have seafood, seaweed, and iodized salt. Again, for iron, if we see, we have too much of meat, eggs, beans, all of those. The same applies for manganese and magnesium, sodium, sulfur, phosphorus. Now, what happens if there is too much of excessive mineral consumption, right? You might think, ma'am, I'm getting deficient of it, but in that process, I've eaten too much of minerals, I have got overconsumption of it. Too much of anything can also be dangerous, right? In certain, similarly, excess minerals intake might lead to certain illnesses in the body. Too much of calcium in our diet may cause constipation and kidney problems. Excess zinc intake causes diarrhea, heart problems, kidney malfunction, and vomiting. Too much sodium in blood cells increases the risk of stroke and other heart related disorders. Excess iron can result in cardiovascular problems, liver diseases, loss of interest in sex, which is lack of libido, infertility, and impotence. Okay, so there is always important for us to balance in everything. Anything when we are not balancing can lead to excessiveness. Okay, understood? Do you want me to repeat anything? You can just let me know. Any doubts, any queries? Okay, sure. Let's wind up for today and we shall continue from tomorrow. Sorry, next class. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye bye. See you next week.